them. And not that long ago, I was on call. Our office offers 24/7 on call. So I was actually at the gym with my husband working out and was looking for a reason to quit, and I got an on-call call. So I got to step outside and take this call. And I was on the phone for a long time, probably about 45 minutes to an hour, and got this young lady through her situation. And about 2 days later, she wasn't my client. I had never met her in person ever. But I could hear her outside of my office asking for me, and the secretary directed her to come into my office, so she did. And it was this young lady that I spoke to on the phone while I was at the gym, and she just wanted to share with me that, it's hard to talk about, that she was gonna take her life that day. And she didn't, because I talked to her. I talked so much about being there for people because it wasn't my counseling skills. I didn't say a whole lot. It was my listening skills. That just really hit me hard, like what we do is worthwhile.
Really is so important to prioritize this issue because nationally, there was a big study done this summer where they surveyed undergrad, graduate students, and professional students. And what they found was 1/3 of the students reported being depressed or having anxiety. This is almost double from the survey that they did last year. Now, here on campus, we have seen a 30% increase in the number of students requesting services over the last several years. So we know it's a real need here.
Anxiety is always number one. Depression is always right up there, number two, or vice versa. It kind of depends on from year to year. At one point, I took a stat that like 26 or 28% of the students that come into our center are actively contemplating suicide. So in any given week of 200 students in our center, we can say that it could be up to 50 students that are having active thoughts of taking their life.
I think that the other thing that students have struggled with is loneliness. I think that they're not as connected perhaps to the people who are physically present as we used to be 15 or 20 years ago. And so it's become a little bit harder to maybe reach out to people that you don't see as often.
And we have students that, used to come in 5 years ago and say, I just broke up with my boyfriend, I need somebody to talk to, or I just got in a fight with my roommate. The issues were really manageable. But what we're finding now is we have students that are very depressed, have anxiety, and even suicidal ideation. So it's so important, and there's such a large need at our university to continue to be able to serve our students.
When we think about the loneliness part of mental health, I think that that's problematic now as we see some need to isolate, as we see some need to not be as close to people as we otherwise might be.
Students, they so thrive on social relationships, and that's something that's really been taken away from them since March. So many of them have not been able to be with their friends and be on campus and be in classes and really being stimulated. And so it's been an issue for a long time, and now I see that it's even going to become more of an issue as time goes on with COVID-19.
The National Alliance of the Mentally Ill did a study that indicated 76% of all college students admitted to having some sort of a mental health crisis throughout the time that they were in college, but only 30% of those actually told somebody about it. And so that's the scary thing to me is, just not even just scary, but it's disheartening to think that so many people are struggling when they don't have to be. We have to make sure we have the resources to help them. But I also think the message is really important too, that we start even more so challenging that stigma and really opening doors to students to support each other and really listen to each other. When we're stressed and when we're experiencing a lot of adversity in our lives, there's a tendency to draw inward and focus so much on the problems and focus so much on the stresses and all the things that are happening within ourselves that we just naturally forget to pay attention to what's happening around us.
Through Women in Philanthropy are seeing or understanding that there are people who want to help, not because it's part of their job, but because they are trying to proactively make the world a better place, trying to proactively make USD better and more fulfilling for those students. I think that's something different that they don't see other places. Part of the mental health initiative, I think, and part of one of the things that Women in Philanthropy can help with, or that professors can help with, is simply to be a person who notices.
We give people our time, and we just hope it's what they needed in that moment, and it probably was.
We will really need all the tools and resources that we can possibly have. And for the Women in Philanthropy to jump up and want to help means just really everything to us.
The idea that there is a group coming together to address specifically how students are being kept from their best, like what it is that's holding them back, which might be Charlie's Cupboard, which might be, any of the other projects that are going to come, mental health initiatives, any of those things that Women in Philanthropy are going to work on. It's nice to be a part of a group that is acknowledging that there are non-academic parts of student life that are very important. That's a big deal for me.
Having Women in Philanthropy kind of shed their light on issues pertaining to women and all across the spectrum really empowers us to learn more and look at other issues with a wider lens.
I'm so thankful that women are stepping up and helping the university. This really needs to be a priority for us, and we can't thank them enough for considering this. All of our counselors are so passionate, as well as our university administration, in making sure that our students have all the tools that they need to be successful. And certainly if you're having a difficulty with your mental health, students can't be successful. And so we are really, really pleased that women are helping us with this.